So thank you both for joining. So today's session is titled AI has already changed your career. What you can do about this. So I started the future states about it's not going to 4 to 8 weeks ago. And the reason why I decided to do the future states is because I noticed that despite the fact that there is a lot of data jobs, people are still struggling to get in. And then with AI coming in, it looks like it's easy for the people that are already in data to change their job, but it's becoming difficult for people from outside to come in. I don't know if it is something that I only observe, but if it is something that everybody observe as well.
Yes,
Yeah, so it's more like it has increased that it has separated people in a with a wide margin. So people that can use AI, they are finding it easier and enjoying it. And people that are not using AI are becoming more confused. And I believe we can do a lot about it. So, as I said, AI has already changed your career. Either you accept it or not. One thing I notice about us humans generally is that we like to live in that denial stage. A lot of organizations still think that their staff are not using AI. And sometimes I don't know how they believe that people are doing a lot of their work now with AI. So the best thing an organization can do is to support their staffs to use AI or to produce that environment where people can do what they need to do. But let me go gradually into this and we'll get to it. So as I said, AI has changed what you do. But even though AI has changed job, there is a way we need to look at this. What I want you to be thinking about is it's not a question of will AI replace me, but it's a question of which part of my work has already changed. If you are the type that your work involves a lot of writing, AI can now write a lot of stuff. If your job is some simple codes, AI can write code. So AI can write code, but AI might not be able to get the logic that your other teams want you to use. So there are part of your work that still requires your human knowledge. It still requires the fact that you can ask them what they want. Because that team that you are working with, maybe you are with that business team you are working with, AI cannot go and ask them, AI cannot ask them the question of what do they want. You are the one that will do that job of understanding their requirements and all that. So maybe after understanding the requirements, you can now use AI in some organization, even though they are not as they are programmer, you won't be able to use AI. So, but what I'm saying is that the task, AI is changing task. Even in terms of expectation, AI has changed expectations. The way you write before, that people will accept that you make a mistake. Now, nobody wants you to make mistake because AI will write letter cleanly. You understand what I mean? So, in terms of productivity as well, and the one that I would like to talk about is in terms of career paths. I was discussing with someone yesterday about we were talking about the guy told me that he was called for an interview. And I was saying when it comes to preparing your CV, you need to also use AI to prepare your CV. Because the people you are competing with, they are the people that have used AI to improve their CV. If you don't use AI, the meaning of that, what happens is that while their own CV looks organized, well arranged, and nice, your CV look all over the place. And that is not what you want. So what we are going to be focusing on today, it is not about panic, it's about preparation. The question I want you to be asking yourself in today's class, in this session is, what is changing? Why does it matter? And what should you do next? Thank you, Dr. Costa, for joining us. So as I'm saying, the question is what is changing? Why does it matter? And what should you do next? So this is not about panic. I'm not here to give you some sense of, well, although I want you to have that sense of urgency, but I'm not here to raise an alarm or to give you some heart attack. This is more around preparing for what is coming. preparing for what the future holds. I make that statement that AI is changing work. And one thing about if we look past, when it comes all the time we have new technology, work has always been changing. And but in the past, when work changes, it has not changed autonomous task. Work has mostly been changing. For example, when they replace horses with cars, what changed was the means of transportation. There is still people moving from one place to another. So, and it's not it's the car that was it's the means that was changed, not intelligence. So, but now what is now changing is now different from what has changed in the past. So AI is now changing knowledge work. It is changing brain work. I remember growing up, so one of the things they used to tell me is that I should study hard so that I can do uh, brain work. So that when you do brain work, you don't stress yourself too much. You can sit in an office instead of walking around or stressing yourself. But that is now changed because AI now is challenging all the people like me that think that we want to do office job. But what I'm saying is that AI can now do it. But as I said in the previous slide, AI is not going to change me. AI will only change some of the things I'm doing, and I just need to adjust to the reality. So from what I have here, AI can now, of course, I use AI for most of my emails. Even for those ones that is important, once I write it, I paste it on AI, we write this to look professional, and it will give me something and I'll just forward it on. So although I don't, now I'm now just, since I saw one post on LinkedIn where that person added, here is a letter that you should write. Now I now look to make sure that I'm not posting my letter with prompts. So AI can write email report proposals, can write good research papers, search sentences, comparison. And do you notice that I normally review papers for health safety? And since we have AI, there is now an increase in the amount of journals that people submit because people are now writing their research paper with AI. They give their topic and AI has already come back with 10,000 words. So AI can analyze data, document patterns, AI can build. I do this a lot. AI can manage project meetings, action decisions, have customers to student. All this stuff, AI can now do it in some ways. But even though AI can do it, it is still not replacing you. So let's see what we are going to be talking about next. Because of all these things that AI can do, the reality is that it presents some risk. And the biggest risk is staying the same while work changes around you. You will agree with me that even without AI, there's a need for you to improve yourself professionally. When you are every year, there should be a learning objective that you have. If it can be a form of certification, it can be a form of personal improvement. So you should always be doing something to improve yourself. But because of AI, that is now increased. So you can't afford to ignore AI completely. You can't. And then using AI casually, but not professionally. A lot of people are now doing this. For some people, even when it comes to their shopping, or when they want shopping, they will type it in AI. Even recently in my house, I want to do some gardening. I was asking AI to recommend what I should buy. So a lot of us are using it even casually. And then we also have learning tools without building judgments. And that is another thing. And one thing about that learning tools without building judgments is that you can also use it to develop yourself. One thing I notice is that even though it might look like a different terrain, the more you start making use of these tools, the more comfortable you will be with them. And then another risk is that with AI now, it is possible that you let your skills become invisible. Because sometimes, like, people are complaining about them, how will I say it? That AI is after intelligence. So what people would have think creativity that people would have come up with, now they don't even try. They just put it in AI. But what I want to sell to you today is that AI rewards people who can combine tools with domain expertise, judgment, and communication. And what do I mean by that? Instead of asking AI to write an essay, what if you give AI the results that you have developed yourself? What if you take a step further to already help AI with all the journals and articles that you are interested in? What if you've done some work yourself before asking AI to complement your work? Your results will be amazing. And I can tell you, I've experienced it. I recently did a master's degree this year, and during the degree, I was trying to do some assignments which I was using AI. And then other people were also using AI. But if A, B, C, D use AI and people have different marks, you'll be surprised. Somebody used AI and scored 54 or 50 something. The pass mark is 50, by the way. So the way you use AI will decide, even with AI, I now see that even though there is AI, it is not like people will now be, everybody will have distinction. No. With AI, people are still having 55, 60, 52, because AI is good. AI can do a lot of stuff, but AI requires you to still do something. Isn't because they on AI wanted to prepare, give the right materials, give the right prompt, the right advice. There are many things that you need to add. So where I'm going is that if you can combine your expertise, your judgment, and communication with AI, then that is what will help you to get the best out of it. And then back to career, which I'm talking about now. There are 4 different areas. You can answer yourself. Don't put it in the chat. Don't say it out loud. You can. So, which career position do you think you are? So you need to look at it. There are 4 career positions. Let me talk about the first. So the first one is what I call passive. Somebody that is passive is someone that is waiting for to see things happen. How will I describe that? Yes, they said AI this, but I don't know. I will just see what happens. It's not my business. People like that. So, and if you are passive, the problem with being passive is that things might move quicker than you thought. And if you are passive, everybody is learning to improve. Everybody's improving themselves, improving their work, and you're just there. One might be one of the first people that AI will send out of job. And then there is a casual user, which we talked about the other time, uses AI occasionally, but without a method, evidence, or boundary. People that just use AI or they ask AI for their shopping, or maybe even in their job, they just ask AI for 1 or 2 lines, and that's all. And some of them might even be the people that, even though they use AI, but they will write a long LinkedIn post about why people should not use AI to post or something. People like that. And then we have the other people that we call the skilled adopter. They use AI to improve real tasks and also explain the value. As a skill adopter, you'll be getting a lot of things done, but the better one is for you to be a responsible leader. And being a responsible leader ensures that you combine AI capability with judgment, ethics, governance, and people. And although before you can become the responsible leader, you have to be someone that is a skilled adopter yourself. Because from skill adopter to responsible leader, it's about confidence. If you are not confident in yourself, you won't teach other people. So it is based, the skill adopter becomes a responsible leader after doing a lot of things on its own and after seeing value. And that is when he's now trying to pass the value to the next person. One thing I would say is that you need to move deliberately towards becoming a skilled adopter and a responsible leader. And the movement is all about you starting. It doesn't matter, it starts with you looking at what are you doing and how can you improve where you are. So let's go to how you can start that journey. I believe many of you on this call, as I'm looking at you, everybody on this call has already started. because I know all of you on this call. So audit your role. The quickest way to prepare is to break your job into tasks. So you need to look at your role and look at your job. You ask, review, what can AI do? And after you've seen what AI can do, then you need to look at what you should still own. For many programmers that are writing code, there are things that you do yourself and there are things that you ask AI to do for you. All those tasks that are repetitive, of course, AI can help you with it. Tasks that need judgment, context, accountability, most likely you are the one for that one. So you need to just ask those questions. And even some tasks might require accountability, and you might be able to devise a means for AI to help you with it. But you need to review it. For different people, there will be different answers. So it's not like I think the word they use is that you can't compare apple with oranges. So everybody and each job will be different. So you look at in that task, what can you accelerate with AI? So, and which task should not be automated without oversight? Because there might be tasks that even though you can automate it, maybe you it might even be because of of the rules around. Because if you are doing something that requires a legal challenge, that needs a way to challenge it, for example, automating that process might deny people of that means to legally challenge the process. So in processes like that, even though you can automate it, you will not automate it because you want to leave that gap. So it's more of you looking at it because at the end of the day, the question you will ask it's not just about the fact that AI can do it. You will also be treading the path of ethics. Even though AI can do this, should I allow AI to do it? That's a question that you should also be asked. And then in the course of this, there are skills that will become more valuable. As AI produces more outputs, human quality control becomes more important. And this is already becoming challenging. With AI, we talk about humans in the loop, human oversight. But the challenge now is that people are using AI to do a lot of stuff, and they don't even have time to look at what AI is doing. And it's not just people. I would say, I think I can make myself vulnerable here. Sometimes when I use AI to code, so because I do use AI to build apps locally, and when I do that, AI write the code, open a PR, and ask me to do the code review for me to accept the code. And at least in about 2 instances now, I've accepted the pull request without looking at the code. It's okay because I'm just trying stuff on my local computer. Imagine if if you are handling a big infrastructure, if an engineer decides not to review the code because he already have confidence that AI has already wrote this documentation, he has showed me what he has written, and then you just accept. And if there is a problem, So AI produces more output. So human quality control is important, and we must always ensure that we don't let things slide. So areas where we should continue to double down, we should double down on our critical thinking. One thing is, I would say critical thinking, people are now losing their ability to think critically because AI has taken over, I would say. And we should try as much as possible to not allow AI to take over from us completely in that area. Domain expertise, you are experts in your field. AI cannot take that from you. Although, of course, they can train AI in your field that we know so much. But then that judgment will still come from you because it will still, and then the communication, explanation, and influence. Even though you have AI, there are stuff that you need to go and speak to your colleague about. AI might not be able to do that properly. Also, AI literacy, governance awareness, adaptability. You can always adapt to various scenarios. AI will be acting based on the rules of engagement. And also governance awareness, understanding risk and boundaries. Of course, they can program risk and boundary into AI, but it can't be as effective as humans because we have the human element to things. AI will, I don't, well, based on the way I understand it, when it comes to boundaries, with AI, there might be some configuration file that is set. No matter the condition, your code will always follow that rule. So, but humans, we can always, also apart from all this, as humans, we can show empathy. We can put ourselves in our colleagues' position. So there are all those human skills that is very, very valuable as we talk about this AI madness. And one thing is AI does not remove judgment. You will still need to make some judgment. AI does not remove judgment. So let's assume AI quickly generates a draft for you. Most people don't use the first draft AI generates anyway, because if you take the first draft of AI, you're most likely not going to get so much from any task. AI can generate draft summaries, code analysis option, but you have to look at it for accuracy. AI can make the first draft and you'll be like, no, you need to add this, you need to add this, you need to add this. And there was a day I was trying to do something. It was a particular code, and I was using AI, and it keeps giving me this house, this house. And I was there for like 3 hours, still on it, 3 to 4 hours. And it came to my mind that even if I've gone to maybe Google or Stack Overflow and then add some things to this, that I would have written this code instead of using AI. So sometimes it's not all. So sometimes you use AI and you just continue going, question, adjust, adjust. So where I'm going is that with AI, your judgment is still there. You still need to look at what AI has done and for you to accept if it is right or wrong. So, and those things that you should always focus on: accuracy. AI can be 99 or 98% accurate. That's 1%, 2%. You can't decide what those 1 or 2% will be. If those 1 or 2% is a very big mistake, it can cost somebody his job, depending on the quality of that mistake. So we must always go through what AI has done to make sure that we are not at risk. Also, in terms of context, we need to ensure AI might not get the right context. There are some words that means more than one thing, especially, well, I know there's a lot of work now to create AI for Yoruba language, but because in Yoruba language we can have the same spelling and it will have exactly different meaning. It can have 3 or 4 different meanings depending on how you pronounce it. So, and that is context. And there are things like that in English language as well. We have the idioms. So sometimes AI might not understand idioms. Although I would say AI is now becoming more intelligent, but in some areas it will still fail. AI might not understand risk. AI might not understand fairness and also impacts. So, and those are things that we need to be consciously judging. So the future belongs to people who can use AI without surrendering responsibility. The reason why the future belongs to them is because they won't have problems due to their use of AI. Because as I've said earlier, you don't know when AI will make mistake. Their model that is 98 or 99% accurate, you don't know where the 1% or 2% will be, and that might cost you. And that is also to make it clear that in generating output from AI is not giving output because AI can think so well. AI is generating the output based on patterns. AI has analyzed they've trained it with a lot of data such that it has known that when I see A, the next is B, the next is C. So it's more of patterns that AI is working with. And the implication of that is that AI might choose the wrong pattern. And that means that if AI will get it wrong, AI can get it wrong very, very big, such that people will be like, wow, and this guy says he has 15 years experience. What kind of 15 years experience doing nothing? And it can be huge, the mistake when AI makes it. That's where I'm going. If you are here and you are not been making use of AI or you want to start making use of it, you put this here as a plan that you can follow. And the reason why I've put 30 days, what I'm trying to say is that I want to take action today, not tomorrow. The first thing you need to do is map your task, all your recurring work, and identify where AI can. I've said it, you don't need to start big. Small action repeated weekly will create a big career momentum. So you just need small action, little here, a little there, and they compound. And once you map out your task, then just one tool. Choose one AI tool relevant to your role and practice properly. Don't be a jack of all trades because you might end up being a master at nothing. Choose one, learn it properly. Although, depending on the type of AI tool that you're using, I would say for many of you, you might be able to choose more than one. But the problem with choosing more than one is that each environment performs better with different prompts. I'm currently using ChatGPT and I also use Claude. One thing I've realized is that ChatGPT is better when it comes to day-to-day writing and activity. It's also better when it comes to creating images. If I move to Claude is better when it is something relating to programming and code, product development. So the thing is, and that's one thing I'm saying. So choose an environment so that you can understand how to maximize or what that environment is all about. And after doing that, you can now start changing and chopping. And then week 3, build one use case. Create a workload that saves time or improve quality. Just one use case. Don't choose too much. My approach, which I will encourage you to do, is one problem, one solution for one person. One problem, one solution for one person. So don't do it more than that. And once you do it, one problem, one solution, and one person, you can now scale that particular solution. Because if you look at it, most successful tools, they do just one thing. If you have a tool that does everything, most times it doesn't break through. And by the time you build one, it also gives you confidence. And with the confidence you develop, you can go ahead to build more. And then for week 4, document your value. And how can you document your value? You capture before and after example. When you capture before and after, it helps you to notice measurable improvements. And trust me, that is mental. For most people, once they can see measurable improvements, they will keep going because that motivates you, because that is results. And one thing that you should do from beginning to the end in this process is responsible use. Always use things responsibly. Protect your data, respect policy, human oversight, not giving everything to AI, always adding your input, checking for the results, checking your output exactly what it's supposed to be. So all those things still have to be there. And then in your work, you need to use AI responsibly because your career advantage should not create organizational risk. Always ensure that you don't paste sensitive data into public tools. For many organizations, what they've done is they've have their own AI environment. That's the one thing Microsoft has it, Gemini as well have it, such that inside the organization's environment, their staffs can access AI. But even despite that, be careful about pasting sensitive data into the public tool. Know your organization's AI policy and boundaries. Verify the outputs before you make use of them in decision, because if you don't verify the outputs, as I said earlier, the output AI is giving you is based on pattern. If it gets the wrong pattern, it might give you an output that will question your professional capacity. So you need to protect yourself in that area and also protect yourself in the sense of getting things wrong and putting your organization into disrepute. And then when you've used AI to shape your work, be transparent, be confident to tell people that you've used AI. One thing I hate is I see a lot of people, they put it on LinkedIn that they've not used AI, that they've written, they've done this, and it is a lie. Most people posting on LinkedIn uses AI, because even if you are a creator and you are not using AI, it only tells me that you are slow, because even all the creator tools now have AI. So be transparent and don't feel bad about using AI. It's just like, remember, once upon a time, people walk around because there are no cars. Walk from, if you need to go, if people need to go from Glasgow to Aberdeen, take them weeks or the amount of time to walk. But now we now have a train, we have buses. For rich people, there is now private jets. So if you decide to now walk, people would think that person is mental. And I think it's getting to that, AI is getting to that position. If there are things that is very fast or reasonable for you to do with AI, it's just better for you to make use of AI instead of instead of taking alternative approach. That means that you are less productive. But as you're doing this, you need to keep human accountability where people are affected, because that is very important. You need to be accountable, because that accountability, I would say, that is what will help you when you're doing assessment. Because when you are accountable, most likely going to be fair, because it means that you are checking your results as you go. So AI literacy without responsibility is not maturity, and we need to take note of that. So there are questions I would like us to ask ourselves today. And the first one is, I want us to bring context into this conversation. I don't just want us to talk on the fly. I don't just want it to be generic. So if you like to talk, feel free to contribute in this particular segment. And if you don't want to talk or drop questions in the chat. The first one I want to start with is, what part of your career is AI changing? As we've agreed, AI is not going to be changed. Well, although there will be job titles that will be coming due to AI, but I want us to think in terms of task. For my career, areas that AI is changing, documentation. AI has changed documentation quite a lot. Documenting codes. And then in my job, I make use of Confluence. And when I go on Confluence now, all you just need to do is to type what you're looking for. Before you know, it will bring up a lot of materials related to what you are looking for. And that is all this search algorithm. It's not there before. And then AI now helps with programming. So AI has done a lot in my own role. And if I want to say, what AI skills should you learn first? Who has an idea of which AI skill will you say you should learn first?
I think from my point of view, first thing we need to understand is prompt engineering. Why I'm doing prompt engineering is because if you don't know how to query these AI, you will not get the best out of the output and the results you're looking for. Everybody understands AI, everybody understands tool, but actually, the having the right frame of mind um, um, to prompt for the right results is actually key to what we do, and the end result of what we want. Because if you prompt wrongly, you get a wrong result at the same time, and that's where fact checking and some of the ethics comes into play. I believe it's prompt engineering should be very important, as well as trying to understand your role, like you said earlier, the repetitive tasks, and trying to simplify it with AI to save time.
I agree with you. Prompt engineering is something, because your prompts will decide the output in many instances. So yeah, prompt engineering. Who also like to contribute which skill? But I agree with prompt engineering. which other skills do we will help us with our AI skills. So just choose the one that is closest to your role. Yeah. I would say for many roles, the prompts will help because, and let me give you an example of prompts. The prompt I've used before acts as a data engineer or a principal data engineer that is trying to build a data platform, you know. And what you do is with that type of prompt is you are telling AI which role it should which role or which position it should position itself. So because if we ask the same question from AI might give a different answer to a principal engineer and a different answer to an incoming data engineer that is new. So because they are different level, so you have to give that prompt because that is what will influence mostly the output that you get. And along with your prompts is the fact that you need to provide materials that can help AI make decision well. If there are images that you can share, if there are additional information you can share, it's always helpful. So, and the next one, what worries you most about AI in your job?
I think that the central problem is that I assume that most of us have learned our skills or whatever we do before AI was there. So we are able to direct AI. But the central questions, I think, will be that people haven't learned that anymore, are not able to control that anymore. Because I mean, to direct AI, you need to have superior knowledge. If you don't have superior knowledge, you're not unable to correct it. And then you obviously also have the issue of different skills that AI got. There are people using just general ChatGPT or whatever Copilot, which is basically ChatGPT, and that input gets they're distributed by people who have no idea what they're directing it to, and I think that's the crucial problem.
I think I agree with you there 100% because if you don't know what you want to ask from AI, then how do you want to ask AI to do something? I think I gave that example that even though people are using AI, I'm surprised that different people use AI and they get different outcome that is very wide in terms of their marks. And then this now it now makes it make sense to me because many of these people I'm talking about did their degree after AI has come because there are people that they did their degree in 2022, 23 after AI. So because they started their degree after AI, they might not have that knowledge of what is before AI. Yeah, another one thing that I think worries me most about AI is that it appears that AI is now affecting junior engineers. I'm noticing now that in many jobs, they prioritize the senior roles. They prioritize the senior roles. And for the junior roles, they don't care as much as before. Who else is noticing that?
Yes, I think I agree with that as well. I agree with the fact that junior roles are very, very complex to get by now. One example was sometimes when I was actually I applied for a role that is junior, just very junior to what I'm doing currently, and I got rejected. And I laughed and I looked at it as this role, I've got about 3 years experience doing it, and I'm wondering, I when I submitted my statement, I did not use AI to submit my statement because everything they wanted, I know I can do it. I now do it when I even close my eyes. So possibly maybe because I didn't use AI to write my statement, I got rejected. But I was furious to the point that I think I started looking at, okay, what are the policies in place when recruiting? Because you cannot tell me somebody with similar job role and title is applying for this role and you're telling me the person is not qualified for the interview. So I think something is wrong. So I think we should be worried in the next few years. There might the influx of, maybe recruiters being overwhelmed with job applications that sound or look similar. Everybody's writing the same way due to AI, and, it will be difficult to actually identify talents, to be honest. So I think I agree that to be in next few years, it will be very tight to get entry level roles in data or, data field specifically, I believe.
Yeah, and I think one thing that also worries me is that is now creating a divide between people that use AI and people who don't, or people that are in in the AI space and people outside of the AI space. Yeah, because one thing I also notice here when it comes to the AI stuff is that for job applications, you now see that people have excellent CVs, they apply for jobs, but when you now call them for interviews, they don't perform. And in a particular interview, I selected want to recruit 3 people. I selected about 15 CVs, and eventually it's more like we scrape by to get the people we have. We even have about 3 of them withdrawing for the interview. I will tell you that if you are for junior roles, if you are not in data and you are trying to get into data, the only thing that helps is studying and preparing yourself, improving your skills. One thing about this is that even before AI, one thing about many of these jobs is you can't really predict what they want because data and AI roles is very wide. Let's assume you apply for a data science role, and I think data science role is one of the widest in this area. A data science in ecology is different from a data science in the financial industry. It's different from what a data scientist will be doing in the oil and gas industry. Or it's different from a data scientist that is focusing on image detection. There are different areas that everybody's a data scientist, but their own area is quite wide in terms of the models and
But
nails.
I think this is a clear example where the development of what you call computer science has kind of disrupted. I mean, at the time when I'm an ecological scientist, and in the past, you would have never asked a financial analyst to be an ecologist. This term data scientist is way too wide.
Yeah, you are right. So with the term data
This
scientist,
is a term which was essentially invented by Google to basically get people to use AdSense and ad things so that everybody becomes a data scientist. And then a wave developed where everybody was thrown into data and thing. I mean, I saw recently on the Data Lab, which is the Quango from the S&P, and they are talking about things you talked 30 years ago. I mean, this is not new insight. The term data science has kind of diluted so much, and I think this will happen with AI as well.
yeah, and you are 100% right in this one. The term data scientist, data analyst is now diluted and convoluted. And the challenge is that if you now apply for these roles, many times the HR writes those job requirements. Until you get to the interview, you might not really know what they want. And sometimes when you do their interviews, they think it's not really that you did not perform in your interview. It might just be that their kind of work they are doing is what's clearly not what they think your experience can do because it is just too wide. So, and again, what's in terms of quality, I would say personally, I'm not really worried about quality. What I see personally in quality is that it looks like with AI, quality increase. The only challenge is the fact that people are not doing the due diligence, which means that although the quality increase overall, mistakes might now be becoming too difficult to fix. And then change of pace, things now move very quickly as well. So because nowadays people can now write reports very quickly. So the report that takes you a week or two to write before, now it's like everybody now expects to get everything by the following day. So that pace, I think, can be worrisome. But in all this, there are opportunities. So what opportunities do you see? Where can AI help you create more value? The opportunity that I've seen is that since AI came, I've been able to do more personally, especially now. AI has helped me to understand more about deploying data science tools and technology, because now it's now easier to do stuff than before. And it's basically because of AI, because I can ask instead of going on GitHub to manually create a repository, I can just ask AI to create a repository for me. So right now, if you look at my repository and the way I do my projects, I look more organized. And that's because I can ask AI to do all those little stuff. So, and that's the way I would like you to also do it. And then in terms of opportunity, I believe that with AI, there has been, because I'm a data engineer, because of AI, there is now more data engineering roles. And that's because everybody wants to make use of data. Everybody wants to make use of AI. And before they can make use of AI, they need to have their data needs to be matured. So they need, and once they talk about their data maturity, they're always talking about data migration, data quality improvements, So all those things leads to a lot of new data roles. So for those of you doing data, I think it's currently an opportunity for us, because it means that anytime they talk, most organizations now, there is now a lot of migration projects going on. So even sometimes when they talk about data engineers, I wonder maybe we should even call a data engineer a data migration engineer instead of just data engineers. So maybe data migration personnel, but I think the data engineering name still looks nicer. So that we can leave it at that. So yeah, so and that is it. And I would like, do we have comment, thoughts on this before I move to the next one? Which area in your past, do you see opportunity with AI? Which area did you see that AI is creating more value?
I mean, I feel that AI basically adds value everywhere because everything goes quicker. The question obviously remains, everybody else can do it too, so you kind of have to, so this kind of comes back to what you mentioned. It's like, if you don't do it, you're kind of screwed. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've even designed for my archery leather quiver. I mean, it does make mistakes, but I think it's an essential tool you have to use today. But as you said before, you have to use it responsibly and know what it can do and what not. So I'm also paranoid about its mistakes. So you have to check it, especially if it loses memory. And I don't know what your experience is. Maybe my prompts are incorrect, but I have to add, do not change anything else, because it tends to try to fix the last error, fucks off something else up. And I think that is its biggest weakness, the memory loss.
Yeah, that's correct. Memory loss. So you should always remember to keep your memory when you are using AI. So, and the next slide is me talking about future state community. Yeah, so my intention is that I'm going to be having this session every week where we'll come and talk about a particular stuff going on within this AI and career. It will be each week we have different topics. I have it in the WhatsApp group, so I will always let you know which topic for a particular week. And what I intend to have is there will be weekly question and answer and live session. After this, I expect that there will be question and answers, and I think on this call, I am fortunate to have Dr. Niels Costa on the call. You've seen him talk, and then I also have Dr. Wilson on the call. Dr. Wilson, you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel. I've really learned so many things from today's class.
You are quiet.
This class.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, Dr. Wilson, we started DataSet together, and well, Dr. Wilson, I'm thinking of introducing you to Niels at some point. So maybe this is the first time of you meeting yourself on the call. So
Yes.
I've done a lot with the two of you separately. Yeah. So
Dr. Niels?
Hello. How are you doing?
Yeah, but Dr. Wilson, Niels Niels will prefer Dr. Costa
Okay, Dr. Costa. Okay,
so that you do it
I get
properly.
It's actually Dr. Crestas, but
Yeah.
it's actually
Okay.
Dr. Crestas, but anyway,
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then personally, I do this podcast every week, which I have different episodes. My next episode is coming out tomorrow. Sorry, on Saturday, and that is the interview, the conversation I have with Niels, which we talk about who should lead AI governance. So that's my first interview. So although August is going to be a very nice one because I've recorded 3 interviews. So there is one coming up on the 1st of August, another interview on the 15th, another interview on the 29th. And then in between those interviews, I have one on the 8th. There'll be the episode on, what's the title again? If the role Africa is going to play in AI revolution. And then the episode on the 22nd, we'll talk about the social contracts. So there are loads of nice topics that we are going to be going through. So, but I'm looking forward to, even though I was with Nails during the data governance episode, I've listened to it now for 1 million, almost over and over again. So I just enjoy it. I like it. So yeah, at some point, Dr. Wilson, I'll bring you onto the podcast.
That's okay. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Niels, there is a group in Glasgow that we call ML Club. So, Dr.
have to
Wilson,
join them.
yeah, Dr. Wilson and some other 5 people, we do ML Club together. And at some point, I would like you to talk to us in ML Club about Govern Pass, if you don't mind.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, that will be our next ML Club is in August. So I will shove that in. Yeah, I will let you know. It's going to be in Glasgow.
I'm going to be in August. I'll be in Glasgow, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be in Glasgow.
I mean, it's just an hour drive from here, so.
Yeah. So, and those things I'm talking about, law, technology, leadership, society. I also talk about career as well. And then, of course, we talk about data and all that stuff. So the final thoughts I would like to leave us with is the question is not only what AI would do to your career. The question is what you would do with AI in your career. So because we are all in control, we are all in charge, we are all leaders. So we are not victims of circumstance. We control events. Head or tail, no matter the outcome, we always win. And that is our approach. And that is what we are going with. So we should not be passive. We should be intentional about what we do with AI. We are not going to be a byproduct of AI affecting. No, we are the one that would decide what we want to use AI to do. So we are going to be strategic about using AI. We are going to use in such a way that it will give us the outcome that will help us move faster and succeed more in our career. So thank you. And that is where I'm going to leave it. I welcome your thoughts and your comments.
It was quite impactful and quite engaging. It's good. You had it well structured. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for joining. Ike, thank you for joining from Nigeria. So know that you go above and beyond.
Thank you.
Okay. So and that is it. So thank you. I have a recording of this session and I'll put it in the group. So if you want to watch it again, I will edit it so that it will remove some of the gaps to be.
Okay,
So-
thanks, Emmanuel.
All right. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That's very interesting. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Hello, Mosok.